Tuscan chicken is a simple to prepare dish that's perfect to serve up to friends and family during the week. It's an absolute flavor bomb of goodness, and it's fairly quick to make. Now, there are many variations to this recipe. I'm going to top it off with a creamy, sun-dried tomato, spinach, and mushroom sauce that's going to be insanely tasty. First though, we're gonna start by knocking out some prep. Sound good? Let's cook. I have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, each of them weighing in between 8 and 10 ounces. Now, what I'm looking for when I purchase them from the store is that they are firm, light pink in color, and have a small amount of white pieces of fat. Now, you can have these on a platter or a sheet tray lined with parchment paper like I do. Now what I'm going to do is generously season them with coarse salt. And whenever I season anything, I like to be about a foot away from what I'm seasoning. This way I can cover as much surface area as possible, ensuring every bite is delicious. We are doing this on both sides, and then we're moving over to freshly cracked black pepper in the exact same manner. We're going to set this to the side for about 15 to 20 minutes, let those seasonings start to penetrate the meat, and in the meantime, we're going to get started on some prep. I've got 1 shallot, which I only need half of it, so I'm going to cut off the ends, slice it in half, remove the outside peel, and then small dice. Set that to the side, and now I have 3 garlic cloves. I want to slice off the root end, give each of them a smash, and then finely mince it, also setting them to the side. And now I have some sun-dried tomatoes. We need a total of a 1/3 cup julienne. Now, the easiest way to do this is that I stack up 4 or 5 at a time and then thinly slice. While speaking of sun-dried tomatoes, do you know it takes in between 13 and 17 pounds of fresh tomatoes to make 1 pound of sun-dried tomatoes? Crazy. Set them to the side. And now I have cherry tomatoes. We need 1 cup total that are sliced in half. These are a great tomato to use if you're out of season in those fall, winter, or spring months. Another great option would be Roma tomatoes. If all you have is canned, 1 15-ounce canned, completely drained. And now for the mushrooms, I have 1 pint total of mixed button and cremini mushrooms. And you can also use other wild mushrooms like shiitakes, oysters, or even chanterelles. I have a damp paper towel. All I'm going to do is wipe them on all sides to remove any dirt or any unwanted particles. You could also rinse these if you want under cold water and then dry them really well. This is the way that I was taught, so well, that's how I do it. Then for slicing them, I slice off the end, roll it over to that sliced part, see how it doesn't rock back and forth, making it stable. Then I simply thinly slice them. Here's to show you up close again. Slice off the end, roll it over so that it stays stable, and then thinly slice them. They should be in between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick slices. Continue the process until all the mushrooms are thinly sliced, and then set those to the side. And next I have some Parmigiana Reggiano. What I want to do is just grate it on the fine grater side. And we're only going to need about a 3/4 cup. I usually do this over parchment paper so that it's really easy to transport. And so, well, I don't have to clean a dish. Whatever. Set this to the side. Then what we're going to do is bring our pre-seasoned chicken breast over to a cooktop. I have a large 12-inch cast iron skillet. You could also use a 12-inch nonstick or stainless steel skillet. We're next going to add in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. We're going to crank the heat up to high. What we want to do is wait for that oil to lightly smoke just like this. Now I'm adding in the chicken breasts 1 at a time, making sure that they are not touching each other. We want to sear the chicken breasts. We don't want to steam. So if I'm too close here, all I'm going to do is scoot those to the side and make sure there's plenty of room. Once they're in there, I'm immediately turning the heat down to medium-high, and I'm going to let them cook for in between 4 and 5 minutes. And remember, cooking doesn't need to be some daunting task. No, it can and it should be fun. I promise you, you can absolutely pull off this dish. After that 4 to 5 minute period, we're going to give them a quick flip. You can see that they're nice and golden brown. Once they are flipped over, we're also going to turn the heat from medium-high down to medium. We're going to cook these for 6 to 7 minutes or until they reach about 160 degrees Fahrenheit internally. Don't worry if it's just a hair undercooked. It will continue to bump up in temperature as it rests to the side on a plate. They look fantastic. They smell excellent. Go back over to that hot cast iron skillet over medium heat. Add in our sliced mushrooms. Then what I'm going to do is immediately season it up with maybe just 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is going to help draw out the moisture so that they brown more evenly, and so I don't have to add in any extra oil. The amount of moisture that it secretes is going to be perfect enough to brown up all of my mushrooms. And after sauteing them for just 4 to 6 minutes, I'm going to scoot all the mushrooms to one side. You see me do this a million times. In the other side of the pan, I'm going to add in my small diced shallot, followed up with my finely minced garlic cloves. Then what I'm going to do is drizzle on about 1 tablespoon of olive oil and just saute this in the other end of the pan for 2 to 3 minutes or until everything becomes nicely light brown and it will also become very fragrant. Then once it's at this stage, mix all of the ingredients together to infuse all those flavors. Perfect. Now I'm going to deglaze with about a half cup of dry white wine. Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc, any of those will work. Again, we're still on medium heat. Let's cook it down until there's maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons left. This is also known as au sec or almost gone. We're at a perfect stage. Let's give one a try.
This sauce is going to be ridiculous. And don't forget to taste things along the way. Nothing gets a conversation started around the table quicker than delicious food. And this right here is going to be fantastic.
I'm going to next pour in 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. You cannot substitute for half and half or whole milk. It will not work. Once it is in there, I'm immediately going to add in my half cup of Parmigiana Reggiano. And we're just going to continue to cook this down over medium heat for maybe 3 to 4 minutes or until it becomes very thick. The consistency we're looking for is known as nappe. Now what this means is you can completely coat the back of a spoon like this. What I like to do is run a little streak through there. If the top part doesn't go through that streak I ran through, I know I'm in good shape. Now I'm going to add in 4 cups of packed baby spinach. Don't worry, it's going to wilt down. I'm next going to add in our sliced cherry tomatoes, then our julienne sun-dried tomatoes. Using a spoon, mix all of this together, and it only takes about a minute or 2 over medium heat for the spinach to wilt down and concentrate and marry all of those flavors together. It will definitely start to take the form of a sauce once the spinach is cooked down. Now I'm going to season it with coarse salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Remember, season once, taste twice. Taste it, season it a little bit, taste it again. Does it need more? If it does, add it. You be the judge. I'm going to give it a little taste, make sure I know I'm in a good spot. Now at this stage, I'm going to add back in my chicken breast. Those extra drippings are totally fine to be in there, will not alter the sauce in any way. We're just going to heat it over low heat for 3 to 4 minutes just to bring it back up to temperature.
And a really quick chef tip, if your sauce is just crazy thick, you're going to want to thin it out with 2 or 3 or maybe 4 tablespoons of chicken stock or water. You will sacrifice 0 flavor and it will still be creamy and delicious. And because I know you're going to ask, what side dish would this go well with? Now I already have vegetables in here, so I'm going to sort of round out this dish with the cheesy bread that my parents used to make for us when we were kids that always put smiles on our faces. The best part is, it is super simple to make. Let me show you how to do it.
In a small sauce pot, I'm going to add in 2 sticks of unsalted butter, 2 tablespoons of finely minced fresh parsley. Then I'm going to grate in 4 garlic cloves. Once they are in there, I'm next going to season it up with coarse salt and fresh cracked black pepper, going right over to the cooktop on low heat. Now for the cheese. Sorry, mozzarella, you got to take a back seat here. I need 2 cups of freshly grated fontina cheese. The flavor in this is so good and a game changer. Not going to stop there though. I'm going to bring in some Asiago cheese. That's nice and creamy, has some fantastic flavors. I'm only going to need a cup here. So I have a total of 3 cups. 2 cups fontina, 1 cup of Asiago cheese. Again, I love it on parchment paper. It makes it easy to transport and I don't have to wash another dish. For the bread, it can absolutely be up to you. Any good Italian or French bread will work, even a baguette. I've got a loaf of ciabatta bread, which is going to be perfect. I'm going to add it on a sheet tray. Do not put any parchment paper underneath. Let's go back to the butter. Check it out. It's melted. Bring that back over to our bread. We are going to evenly spread this using a pastry brush all over the top of our bread. We're going in the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. As soon as we take out the bread, we're going to turn the heat from bake to broil on high. I know I'm at a good place when I can scratch the bread and I hear this sound. I know I've started that cooking process so that the whole bread is baked and crusty on the outside and nice and tender and soft on the inside. Then I'm going to evenly spread on that 3 cups of cheese between both slices of garlic butter drenched bread, going under the broiler on the middle rack. It should only take in between 2 and 4 minutes to get it nice and melted up and just a little bit golden brown.
All right, I didn't mean to be so hard on mozzarella. It's a fine cheese, especially when it comes from buffalo. The regular cow's milk mozzarella we get here kind of tastes like hardened milk.
there's not a lot of flavor there. That's why Fontina to me is a way better cheese to use on cheesy bread. If all you do have is mozzarella, don't sweat it. It's still gonna be ridiculously delicious. If you also have a little Parmigiana to put on top, even better. I promise you, no matter what, you're gonna like it. Starting to look really good, that beautiful melted cheese there. Let's take it out. Looks fantastic. How can I possibly stop myself from taking a slice and eating it right now? Gosh, does it smell incredible in here, and this sauce is just so tasty. They'll always go back to these fundamental classic cooking techniques that always make better food and in return, make the best memories. Isn't that why we do this? We cook to see people smile. That is what it's all about. Now, let me quickly show you how we plate this up. I'm going to take that remaining quarter cup of Parmesan cheese and sprinkle it all over the top. Then I'm going to finish up with 2 tablespoons of freshly minced basil. Another great herb would be rosemary, or you could even use thyme here if you'd like. Then for the cheesy bread, I'm just gonna slice them into 1-inch thick pieces. Then I'm gonna garnish with a little more fresh chopped parsley. Let's pull it apart and see that melty, delicious cheese. Oh, amazing. Just love being able to share this with my family and friends, seeing the smiles on their faces and how much they enjoy them. Hey, even Oliver got a bite. Now, is this maybe a little bit fancier weeknight dinner with the cream and the mushrooms and spinach? Yeah, maybe, but it's 100% worth it. I think you and your family and friends are really gonna dig this, and the cheesy bread, oh, so good. If you like this, you should definitely see my spice combination blend in my chicken biryani recipe video. It is so good. I'll see you on there.